Hi Hailey, just bear with me. I'm trying to read them off the laptop screen and then relay on here. But if you can't hear or the volume's not very good, just let me know and I'll see if I can do it again. So how has your disability set you apart from other athletes? Uh, I used to race for GB Juniors as an able-bodied athlete. Um, so I don't think it actually affected me that much. I don't think I'm as good as people that don't have fused ankles. That might be because of disability, or it might be because they're fitter, stronger, and better at rowing than me. I don't actually know. I don't think it affects me that much, but it's a hindrance less than more than a disability, I think. So um, I don't know. I don't think it affects me that much. Would you say you've been discriminated against because of your disability? Definitely not. No. When I was a junior and rowing for the able-bodied, nobody knew that I had fused ankles, so nobody discriminated against me. Um, and now I'm in the Paralympic squad. Everybody that I row with is accepting, and also they're from the same sort of walk of life as me, as I guess. So that everyone's accepting, and we work around each other's hindrances and get on with it as a squad, I think. Do you feel well respected as a Paralympian? If so, why? I think so, yeah. I think we've done quite well over the last 4 years. I've been rowing for the Paralympic team for the last 4 years. I think we've done quite well. So I think I'm respected within the team, within the GB team, and I don't know. I think we're probably quite respected internationally as well. Um, in terms of people, like the media or people outside of sport, I would have thought I am respected as a Paralympian, but probably not as much as maybe Olympians, just because the Olympics is bigger than the Paralympics. Probably gets more media attention, and people hear about Olympians more than Paralympians. How did people treat you before the Paralympics versus now? Family, friends, athletes don't treat me any different at all, and I think that's great. Um, the media obviously gives a bit more attention now. I do talks and things like that. I've been on radio and TV a few times, but not a lot. So I wouldn't say people treat us much differently at all. A little bit, but not a lot. Um, have you ever felt like you had less potential as an athlete because of what people have said about you? I would, yeah, but not because of my fused ankles, not because of my disability. What people have said about me to my face about um, levels of fitness or how strong I am or things like that when I was younger, it sort of affects your confidence or whatever. Not a lot, but nothing that anybody has said about my disability has thought that I wasn't capable of things. So in that respect, no, not at all. Describe in your own words what the Paralympics means to you. I think it's brilliant. My life goal when I was a youngster was to go to the Olympics. I didn't know I had fused ankles at that point, but it was to go to the Olympics. When I was 18, I'd just gone to university, and within the first 3 months, I'd broken my back in a car crash. So that sort of opened my eyes to other possibilities, and that's when the Paralympics came in. So to me, the Paralympics is a saviour, really, because I almost quit the sport, and probably I would have quit the sport if I hadn't found the Paralympics. So it's quite a personal story. I think the Paralympics means a lot to me. I love everything it stands for. I love competing in it. I love being a Paralympic rower. I think it's great. And I like how it involves people from all walks of life as well. Different countries, different nations, different disabilities. There's a event for almost any disability you can think of, which I think is great. Has the Paralympics made a positive impact on your life? If so, elaborate. Yeah, it has. Yeah, absolutely. In the 4 years previous to the Paralympics, it did change me as a person. I thought it was great. I became world champion, and that changed my life, but not not profoundly, not that much. The Paralympics, though, has been massive just because it gets more media attention. It gets more attention from everybody. People in my hometown sort of recognise me and things like that. So that's had an impact on my life. Apart from that, has it had a positive impact on my life? I think so. Yeah, I think so. It's made me fitter and stronger as well. I had something to train for, which is great. I've become better at rowing. So yeah, I think so. Positive impact. By any chance, do you happen to know any laws or legal changes that were made after the Paralympics? I don't know, to be honest. I know there's been a change of regulation with the amount of events there are for the rowers. And I think there's been changes, small regulation changes within Paralympic rowing. To be honest, I can't detail them for you. I don't know what they are. Any laws or legal changes? I don't think there are, to be honest. I don't know about other sports. No, I don't, to be honest. Do you think the Paralympics had a prominent role in disability rights movement? I don't think we have the disability rights movement in the UK, but I can kind of see the gist. I think it's brought more respect to disabled people, and people understand about disability now, which is good. And people talk about disability. I think that's a massive thing. Before the Paralympics was big, people would see a disabled person and almost be afraid to approach them, I think, especially if they're quite severely disabled, maybe in a wheelchair or have something visually, like a visual disability. I think it has changed the disability rights movement. And now, for example, in the UK, I don't know if there's such thing in the US, but in the UK, there's a certain amount of slots for a job interview that have to go to disabled people, which, I mean, I think that's good. It makes sure that there's no, they're not being discriminated against. I think a lot. Does it have a prominent role in disability rights movement? I think disabled people are more recognised, and do you know what? I think some disabled people are hailed as heroes for getting over major disabilities. So if somebody's had a spinal cord sever or something like that, or something like severe cerebral palsy, and they get over it and win a gold medal at something, they have a massive story behind them, and it's something that Olympians probably have, but it's a different approach, and they have a story behind them, and it's inspiring, I guess. So I think it has definitely helped the movement. How does the Paralympics take a stand for the disabled community? How does the Paralympics take a stand for the disabled community? I don't know what that means. How does the Paralympics take a stand for the disabled community? I guess you mean how do the disabled community sort of view the Paralympics? I think if I got that wrong, let me know. Oh no, there we go. I think there's a split opinion. I think disabled people that are sporty and get out there and do things, I think really idolise the Paralympics and want to get involved, which I think is great. And I think also the Paralympics puts disability on the map and makes people, as I said earlier, it makes people talk about disability, and I think that's really a positive thing. And I think all disabled people, not just Paralympians, can relate to that and will also benefit from that. So I think it's good. To be honest, I don't know any disabled people that are against the Paralympics, and I can't see why they would be. So I think it's all positive from across the board. Do you think the perspectives of the disabled have changed after the Paralympics? I think they have, yeah. Back in the day, sort of 20, 30 years ago, I'm sure disabled people were classed as second-class citizens. And now I think people sort of respect that they're not the same as them, but can accept that they get around their disabilities and respect that, I think. Some of the success stories that come from the Paralympics, for example, there's a girl called Ellie Simmons from the UK. I don't know if you have heard of her, but she has dwarfism and she's overcome that and is one of the most successful sportswomen in the UK, I think. But she's definitely one of the most famous, and I think that's great. I think it's great that disabled sports people and Paralympians are getting to the same sort of pedestal as Olympians. I think that's awesome. Do you think the perspectives of disabled people have changed after the Paralympics? Yeah, I think people view disabled people, or at least, yeah, I think people view disabled people as a part of the community more, maybe. Um, and able as well. I know it sounds stupid being disabled but able to do things and not just like a waste of space almost. And I think at one point, 20, 30, 40 years ago, that could have quite possibly been the case. But I think it's a positive change anyway. I think after the Paralympics, um, the public's perception of the disabled has definitely got better, I think. So that's the last of the questions, I think. Yeah, that's fine. Let me know if this is alright. If not, I'll redo it or I can message you via Facebook or whatever. But yeah, just let me know. Cool.